What's up guys, my name is Ace, and it's finally time for another Q&A. So we're going to be answering questions from the comment section of the previous episode, but in the future I am going to be changing up where I get my questions from. All questions for future Q&As are going to be coming from Twitter, so no need to ask them down on the comment section of this video, although if you do have some questions, maybe I will get around to answering them just by like typing out an answer. No promises on that though. I do my best to keep up with comments, but it gets a little bit difficult when you're a YouTuber of this size. Like, I'm starting to get to the point now where I can't always answer. I see all the comments, but I can't always answer. So just keep that in mind for future Q&As. If you do have questions for me that you want to ask, it will be asked on Twitter, and I will be waiting until like just before I record the Q&A to ask those questions. So don't go and ask those questions now and expect them to be answered in the next Q&A. That's just not going to happen. But yeah, that took a little while to explain. Let's hop into these questions here. First up, we have a question from Rise, and with this one, it is, I've always wondered if European players play differently than American players. Do they play faster or slower, better or worse, more or less tactical? Anyone have experience with that? All right. So for those of you guys that don't know, I'm actually in Norway right now. I've been here for over a month now, or almost a month now, and I'll be here for a little while longer. And also I was here for a little over a month, a little while ago. So I have a decent amount of experience playing with both North American as well as European players, and I get this question a lot because of that. On average, I don't really notice any difference. Now, you always see the different extremes with lobbies. Like sometimes you run into lobbies where they're really easy and newbie and campy or something, and then you run into other lobbies where it's like full of teams of tryhards and things like that. I experienced that pretty much equally, I would say, on both European and North American ends. I would say time of day is a much bigger factor than region. That's something that a lot of people, I kind of wanted to address. A lot of people wonder, like, why are my lobbies never that easy? A lot of the times I'm playing and recording during the day because that's when I work. I work during the day. And I find in both North America as well as in Europe, during the day, the overall skill level tends to be a little bit on the lower side. Once you get into the evenings, I feel like you run into more parties and you run into more of the top tier players or better players. So that's why I really feel that there's a lot of that disconnect with people when they see gameplays from YouTubers, from various YouTubers, not just me, because a lot of us, we work during the day when we do that. You see that little disconnect, like, why are his lobbies so easy? Mine are never this easy. Well, if you play in the evening, I think that kind of explains it a little bit. But overall, as far as region goes, no difference on average. Moving on to the next question, this one's from RazorCat88, and it is, Ace, you seem to be having fun in your videos. Is posting videos daily fun for you, or does it seem more like work now that you do YouTube full time? I get asked this one quite a bit as well. And with this one, it's kind of a little bit of both. I still really enjoy what I do. I love my work. Sometimes I just like can't wait to work. Like I'm doing something else. I have like other responsibilities, being an adult, gotta take care of it. And I'm just thinking like, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to go and record this video. Or like, I just can't wait to go and play the game, or I can't wait to go and stream. But there are other times where it's just like, man, I don't want to do a video today, but I have to. It's my schedule. I have to stick to it. At least I hold myself to a certain standard, and I want to stick to that schedule all the time. And there are definitely days where it's just like, this is work. I have to work right now. I don't want to, but I have to. And I think that's the same with any job. No matter how much you love your job, there are going to be times where you just have to do it. You have to get it done. And yeah, I hope that answers it. I would say more often than not, I'm doing it because I love doing it though. Getting into the next one, this is from Trace Moore, and with this one, it's really like the Q&A, but lag question made me think my own question, because I talked a little bit about lag in the last Q&A. Have you noticed players that are visibly lagging in-game? Yes, I have. And do you think they have an unfair advantage when it comes to Infinite Warfare? Alright, this is something I see fairly often in the community, and with this, the people that are skipping around or jittering around, and it's very clear that they are skipping, not so much that it's clear that they're like ahead of you as far as latency goes, but they're the ones that are lagging and they're skipping around. I do run into those players decently often. I wouldn't say every game by any means, but I do run into those players. And what you're seeing there when you see players skipping like that is usually packet loss on their end. And do they get advantages in some situations? Absolutely. There's a few times where it's like, man, if that guy wasn't skipping all over my screen, I would have been able to hit him just fine, and I wouldn't have died in that situation. He wouldn't have gotten the kill on me. But I would say, on average, you guys have experienced packet loss yourself. I'm sure all of you guys have experienced. It sucks being on that end of it. And I would say on average, you're not gaining advantages. It's not advantageous to be playing on that sort of connection. You might get a few lucky kills like that, but you're not some sort of unstoppable god because you're getting tons of packet loss. It's generally going to be very bad for you. Moving on to the next question. This one is, does your awareness have to adapt differently to every Call of Duty? And absolutely yes. I would say there are certain elements that carry through with basically every first-person shooter. Not even every Call of Duty, but every first-person shooter. There are certain core, like, fundamentals that stay the same when it comes to awareness and positioning and everything like that. But going between different Call of Duty titles, absolutely. And you really see this, you really see a big difference between, like, boots on the ground Call of Duties and advanced movement Call of Duties. That's huge. Like, Advanced Warfare is one of the ones where I would say the advanced movement was very extreme. And with that one, your awareness had to be on point as far as everything that was going on around you. Like, immediately around you and the immediate threats. Whereas if you go back to a lot of boots on the ground Call of Duties, it's not often so much the immediate threats, like how many people can see me right now, or do I have to look up, do I have to look behind me, like can they be in any direction? It was more so which power positions are people likely to be in, is my position set up properly to counter those positions, and what can I do to put myself in a better position to handle a situation if an enemy comes out of an area, or how can I move around the map better from power position to power position. It's completely different play styles there. With advanced movement, it's not so much like thinking about power positions too much, it's just like, how can I set myself up in the air or in some sort of situation to counter these guys? Should I jump up onto this wall run so then I can jump and get a lot of height advantage on them? Or what can I do there? So absolutely different levels of awareness, different types of awareness are required for different Call of Duty games. Getting into the next one, this one is, what does your scuff look like and what are your settings and modifications? So my scuff looks like this, my PS4 scuff at least. My Xbox scuff I don't have with me, it's back in Canada, but it's pretty much the same actually. I got the white case on it and everything. It's got white grips on the back and two paddles you can see there. And as for like modifications and stuff, the only, I guess, modifications, I have a Control Freak on here. This is a Heritage Edition Control Freak. I love the Heritage Edition, and I'm really happy they have them. And the other modification, because I don't have trigger stops in my scuff, I have Trigger Devils here. And this actually gives me an excellent opportunity. I am going to be doing a giveaway in this video for these Trigger Devils. Well, not these specific ones. These are mine. You can't have them. But T, the owner of Trigger Devils, his name is actually T, like literally just a T. No, he's a really cool guy, and he contacted me. He's like, hey, I want to give some Trigger Devils away. I want you to give some Trigger Devils away. And so we're giving away 3 sets of PS4 clip-on Trigger Devils, these ones that I'm using here. Just in case you're wondering, they are a trigger stop that you can add really cheap, really easily. You don't have to modify your controller at all. They just clip on. They're a trigger stop. They change the way that your fingers are positioned, and I really love them. I've been using them for several months now. Definitely recommend them. I am an affiliate with them as well, so if you are looking to purchase some, you can get a discount using the code exclusive on the Trigger Devils website. We'll leave a link down below, but I am giving 3 of these away, 3 pairs of these away, and I'm going to be doing this through a Gleam giveaway. I don't always do the Gleam giveaways. I just feel like they're organized a lot better. I know some people don't like them, but there will be a link down to that below. Basically, you can do several different things to enter into the giveaway. So one of them is subscribing to my channel. If you're already subscribed, you have to go and like confirm your subscription. So you have to log into something and confirm your subscription. Also, follow me on Twitter. Also, follow Trigger Devils on Twitter. And I believe also follow me on Twitch, something like that. So those are all the ways that you can enter. Each one of those actions that you do will give 1 entry. So if you just want to do one of them, that'll get you 1 entry. If you want to do all of them, it'll get you several entries into that. And that will be ending this coming Sunday, which is, hang on a second, that will be the 21st of May. It will be ending, so make sure you do that if you're interested in the Trigger Devils. I talked about that a lot. As far as settings and stuff, I got like a 5 and 5 sensitivity in Infinite Warfare, and there's really no other settings that I can think of. There's nothing else I really change or have settings for. Oh, I guess I could say my left-hand paddle is for jumping, my right-hand paddle is for melee. Moving on to the next one. This one's from Diego, and it's a very common issue people actually have. How can I control my reloading problem? I constantly reload, and it gets me killed a lot. So this is a super common problem. Every time you get a kill, you hit that reload button. It's just like instinct at that point, and I've been through that as well. I go through phases where I have that reloading problem. And to break this, there is a couple different ways. First way is do my aiming drill, not my reloading drill, my aiming drill. With this drill, you double the health of the enemy bots, and you get as many kills per magazine that you possibly can with that double health. This means that you don't reload after every kill. You want to try and squeeze as many kills in as possible within one magazine, and you're just playing against recruit bots, so they're just targets, but that trains that muscle memory a little bit for you. So hopefully it reduces your reliance on that like instant reload. Also, if you don't want to go through and do drills and you just want to play the game in public matches, start using LMGs more often. And don't use dexterity on them, because if you don't have dexterity with an LMG, you really have to pick your time for getting your reload in. And that would carry over once you go back to like assault rifles and SMGs, for instance. It just makes you think about it a little bit more, and it makes that muscle memory kind of go away a little bit, that instant, I need to reload right now because I just got a kill. It'll make that go away really, really quickly if you use LMGs without dexterity. Next up, we have a question from Carson, and this one is, why do bullets sometimes not connect in Call of Duty? Thanks. Contrary to what a lot of people think, a lot of people seem to think that bullets don't connect because the hit detection sucks, and the hitboxes suck or something like that. And that's rarely the case. Very rarely the case that it's actually a hit detection issue. Most of the time, what's going on is either A, latency, and with latency, these are going to be the situations where like you feel like you fire a few bullets through a guy and it takes like your third shot for your shot to register. It's not that your first few shots weren't registering, it's just they're taking such a long time for the hit marker to be returned to your client, and therefore you're already firing your third shot when you're getting the hit indicator for your first shot. So your shots are registering, they're just taking too long to register, and it really feels terrible when that happens, and I hate it when that happens because it feels like you're shooting through them, but technically you're not shooting through them. And also, if you do get yourself killed in these situations, if it's a face-to-face gunfight, then your shots won't register at all. Even though they were going to register, they just didn't get there in time, so therefore they're not coming back to you. That's the first issue with hit detection. Second issue is packet loss. Sometimes that packet that you're sending to the game saying, hey, I got a hit on this guy, can you confirm this for me? They don't get that packet, so they don't return a hit marker because they didn't get any indication that you got a hit. So packet loss and latency are the two most common issues with hit detection or your hits not registering. Next up, we got a question from Chicken, and this one is, what are your two biggest dislikes about the gameplay of Infinite Warfare? So we're focusing just on gameplay, nothing like combat records, leaderboard issues, emblem editor, all that kind of stuff, supply drops. Those are all irrelevant. Just gameplay-wise, what are my two biggest dislikes? And this one I had to really actually think about, because that's the thing I love about this game. I feel like the gameplay is generally very solid with this game. It has a lot of those external issues, or had a lot of those external issues. I feel like they've dealt with most of those at this point in the game's life cycle, but it did take a long time for some of those things. But as far as gameplay goes, I would say number one is going to be the connection issues, the latency issues, the packet loss issues, those sorts of things. Primarily the fact that they are using 20 hertz tick rate with this game when we're even using dedicated servers. We're not always using deddies, but when we're on deddies even, it's a 20 hertz tick rate, and that is unacceptable for a AAA title in 2017. So that, I would say, is a huge issue that I really hope Call of Duty starts fixing going forward here. That's what they really need to start focusing on. In addition to that, I would say the fact that it is difficult to get games in various game modes. There's not a lot of variety. I play a lot of Team Deathmatch simply because I can easily get into Team Deathmatch games. Whereas a lot of other games, I'd love to play Defender more often, for instance, but getting into a game where we have consistent connections, where I can get a lobby together within a reasonable amount of time, it just doesn't work out that well. So I feel like I'm kind of stuck to a lot of the game modes, like Team Deathmatch, Free-for-All, Domination sometimes, maybe, and that's pretty much it. So I would say those are my two biggest dislikes with the gameplay overall. Generally, I would say it's excellent. I would say gun balance is, on average, very, very good. I know there's going to be people that disagree with me, but if you take a really deep look at stats like I do, and you really give other guns an honest shot, like a lot of people won't give those guns an honest shot, every gun in this game is very viable to use. And therefore, yeah, I would say most of the gameplay elements are excellent in this, in my opinion. Moving on to the next question, this one's from Matt, and it is, do you like the idea of specialists? I get the idea that they're fun to get kills with, but personally have more frustration dying to them than fun with getting kills with them. I am not a huge fan of specialists. I would say, in some ways, I feel like they're a better better thing than death streaks, because in a lot of ways they are kind of the replacement for death streaks that we had in previous CODs. But I wish they were just abilities. I don't like the idea of power weapons that you basically can't counter in a face-to-face gunfight. Like, for instance, coming face-to-face, one guy has a claw and you have your normal gun. You're not going to beat the claw user most of the time. And if you do, it's because that player, you caught him off guard or he's just not very good at the game. I dislike the fact that there are things in the game that are legitimately just uncounterable at that moment. There's nothing you can do. It's just accept the death and move on. And I've learned to deal with it, and I don't get too frustrated with it because I just come to expect it. But it would be nice if they weren't there in the first place. The abilities, on the other hand, I feel like abilities can play very well. I feel like in the future of Call of Duty, if they manage to balance the specialists out with just abilities, and they balance the abilities properly, didn't make them like too crazy overpowered, for instance, I think they play out quite well. And it brings in a nice meta, especially in competitive play too. I feel like there's a great meta with power, or not power weapons, but abilities with the combat rigs. So I think there is room for improvement in the future. On average, I'd be totally fine if they just got rid of them altogether. I'd be like, yeah, that's great. As long as they don't bring death streaks back, I'd be happy with that. But yeah, I would say the power weapons are more of an issue for me than the abilities. Next question, pretty straightforward. This one's from Deacon Eilers. Do you prefer dogs or cats? And if you prefer dogs, do you absolutely despise cats like some dog lovers do? I would say I'm cool with both. I would say I'm more of a dog guy. Like if I had to choose between a pet, I would pick a dog over a cat. Even though cats are usually a little bit less maintenance based on my experience. But yeah, I'm going to say more of a dog guy, but I don't hate cats. Not by any means. I hate some cats. Some cats are just evil. I swear, they're just evil. They're out to get you all the time. But on average, cats are cool. Moving on to the next one. This one's from It's Frosty. And with this one, when you were younger, did you see yourself as a gamer/YouTuber? If not, what did you see yourself as? This one's actually really interesting. I never saw myself as having this as a job or a career. I never saw myself as a YouTuber. I did always see myself as a gamer. Like I always thought, like I'm gonna be playing video games when I'm 80 or 90 years old. I'm gonna be playing video games my whole life. And I still stand by that. I'm gonna be playing video games my whole life. As long as I'm able to, I will be playing video games. But as far as like what I saw myself as when it comes to a career or like what I was gonna be doing with my life, I always have seen myself as some sort of a business owner. I don't like working for somebody. I don't like the idea of my whole life purpose is serving somebody else or some other company and working my way up through the ranks and everything like that. It's not that I would never do that, but it's not something that I've ever really wanted for my life. I've always wanted to be have that freedom of being my own boss and pushing things and working for myself and really being able to be passionate about something and working to grow something myself for myself or not for someone else, if that makes sense. Not working under somebody else. So I guess that's the answer to that. I didn't have any specific idea, and I love that I've been able to kind of merge the two, where I've made gaming that thing where I'm still my boss and I'm gaming and I'm doing all that. I think that's amazing, and I can really be passionate about that, and I love it. But if I wasn't doing that, I feel like I would be running some sort of other business and still being my own boss, or at least I hope I would have been. Next question is from Stefan, and actually you can see me in his profile picture. I met you at COD XP, shout out to you. Good to see you here. And do you think there's a skill gap between Xbox players versus PS4 players? Again, it's basically the same thing as the region, like North America versus Europe. On average, no. No, I haven't really noticed any difference. I haven't played so much on Xbox this year with Infinite Warfare, but I've played a ton between Xbox and PS4 with Black Ops 3, for instance. I was a Master Prestige level like 200-ish on both of the consoles, and I would say on average, no significant difference. There's going to be people in the comments like, no, Xbox players are better, or no, PS4 players are better, and the other guys, they all just suck. And usually you'll notice it's the ones that are on, like they claim that their console has the harder players. It's pretty rare that you see people saying, I play on Xbox, and Xbox players are way easier than PS4 players. So I think a lot of people are biased when it comes to that. I've split my time up practically equally in Black Ops 3, and on average, no, I would say there's no significant difference at least. And then the next question from him, he has two questions here. Do you prefer fast-paced COD or slower, more strategical COD? I think there needs to be a balance. Advanced Warfare, I feel, took it to one extreme where it was all about just crazy chaos, Not too much strategy involved. A little bit, of course. There was still a little bit of strategy and positioning and things, but it was maybe a little too chaotic. And then there's other ones like going back to Modern Warfare Remastered, for instance. I feel like it's just a little too slow for my preferences. I feel like sprint out time and sprint timing and everything and aim down sight time a little bit too slow for my liking. And I feel like the game that has really nailed the balance the most, in my opinion, is Black Ops 2. I feel like Black Ops 2 is still a very fast-paced game, but it's also heavily reliant on strategy and positioning and everything like that. So a balance is where I fall on that one. And it turns out that was actually the last question of the Q&A. So like I said earlier, I will be doing that giveaway for Trigger Devils. Link down below if you guys are interested in those PS4 Trigger Devils. They're an awesome product. I use them every day. I love them and highly recommend them. I will be doing that giveaway down below. All it takes is like logging on to something, and then you just have to basically perform some actions like follow me on Twitter, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then follow, yeah, I went through it all. Follow Trigger Devils as well. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter because my next Q&A, I will be getting my questions from there, so not from the comment section of this video. Hope you guys are having a great day, and that's going to wrap it up. Talk to you guys next time.